so she can collect enough delegates to leverage herself onto the ticket. The bankrollers will be using blunt force trauma to the head to create Republican Party unity and tee up Nikki for VP and then POTUS in 28. This is a long shot for a lot of reasons. We get it. We don't need to get into all of it, but it's all moot. If Trump can blow Nikki out so spectacularly in the Palmetto State, the donors get alligator arms. Nikki loses her juice. And then she limps into the convention as an insurance policy in case Trump's court cases throw us a curveball. So here's Trump's task.
That works. I can see the plate. Now, give me the last one.
Unite the party, like he did in 2020, when 94% of Republicans turned out. Biden did the same thing. 95% of Democrats turned out then. But a quarter of the country are independents.
I've got all 4 plates now. Hold on while I run them against their
Now, last
database.
time, both Biden and Trump came to that election with equal bases. But Biden won independents by 13 points, and that was the difference. So Trump would have to unite his party with charm, a little muscle, and an air of inevitability. And then rally the independents. Well, how does he do that? Policy. Trump dominates Biden on every major policy issue: economy, immigration, crime, foreign policy. So Trump stays calm and stays on message. He wins. Because Democrats won't be talking about policy this election. It'll be racism, personality, and dictatorship. I think that we're naive to think that he's tricking people into picking him and then he'll surprise.
Shut your stupid ass up.
What he's offering is strong
Dumb ass
leadership, the end of
bitches.
politics, the end of elections, the end
I don't like
of
stupidity,
sidelining
boy.
or domesticating, as Becky says, the judiciary.
Lying ass.
Congress.
Shut that next one out your fucking mouth.
He'll be able to manage
Don't you fucking lie.
and that's what he's selling, and that's what they are very eager to buy. And so Democrats have to save democracy by slaying the dictator.
Dumb ass.
Well, how are they going to do that? Apparently by not campaigning for president. Dang. If I were Biden, I would stay ahead, and I'll tell you why. He doesn't inspire confidence, and he's not a great messenger for himself. There's something wrong with this campaign where we're somehow expecting Joe Biden, frankly, hid during the last campaign, to somehow come out now and be Flash Gordon and say that this is on campaign. So not only do they not want Joe Biden on the campaign trail, they don't want him on the debate stage. Are they going to be hiding in trenches? I mean, are they going to be, are they going to be on the campaign trail? What is the campaign going to look like? Yeah. Are there going to be debates?
It is going to be debates.
That's an open question. Biden's going to let prosecutors and the press wage the campaign against Trump. Don't you see? Saving democracy from dictatorship requires hiding the president from the public, arresting Republicans and canceling debates.
Excuse me a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, a major threat to our homelands, clearly the arterial bleed at our southern border and the disintegration of our sovereignty down there. And the top threat to individual rights and freedoms for Americans from sea to shining sea, Mr. Ray, is the weaponization of the FBI against the American citizens that you've sworn to serve. Secretary Mayorkas, for the record, are you aware or have you authorized CBP agents to release illegal aliens into America without identifying, screening, or vetting them properly, or harvesting even basic biometric data like fingerprints?
Congressman, our nation's sovereignty stands strong, and our brave men and women in the Border Patrol and throughout U.S. Customs.
Are you aware, have you authorized CBP agents to release illegal aliens into America without having properly vetted, identified them, or collected at least basic biometric data like fingerprints?
Congressman,
I mean, you got millions coming across.
When you can, take it to Lester's guy.
Let's see again. Allow
Secretary.
It's my time, Mr. Chairman. If I want to reclaim my time, I will.
Well,
I'm going to move on without an answer. Mr. Chairman, are you asking for me to yield your time?
no, you, I'm the chair.
Then I'm going to reclaim my
No,
time.
look, we don't,
Moving on,
now,
Secretary Mayor.
the gentleman
Are
from.
you interrupting my time, Mr. Chairman? Or are you expressing me to you?
I'm trying to make sure that we conduct.
You're interfering with my 5 minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Well, then, the gentleman.
If you request me to yield your time, I'll give you time.
No, but that's not the procedure.
But that is the procedure.
It is not. It
Yes,
is not.
it is.
So,
Of course it is. Look, I reclaim my time and I want this time back. Secretary Mayorkas, if you use your authority to suppress exculpatory evidence
Mr. Secretary,
presented by CBP agents who've come under public attack and condemnation by DHS and the Biden administration. If you use your authority to suppress exculpatory evidence presented by CBP agents who've come under public attack and condemnation by you and the Biden administration.
2 points, if I may, Congressman. Number one, in response to your second question, I don't even know what you're referring to. And with respect to your first,
I'll take that as that you're on the record as saying no.
U.S.
That you have not used your authority to suppress exculpatory evidence. If you're an honorable man, then obviously you should be able to say no to that. Who would suppress exculpatory evidence? Is your answer no?
I don't even know what you're referring to, Congressman.
You will.
And if I may,
Secretary Mayorkas, have you used your authority to retaliate against DHS agents who served on special details during the Trump administration? Agents identified by your administration as conservatives or Trump supporters.
once again, Congressman, I don't even know what you're referring to.
You're before Congress, I'm going to take that as a no. Through your authority, Secretary Mayorkas, have you encouraged your chain of command to suppress basic law enforcement actions at the border, and harass or victimize or intimidate experienced frontline law enforcement agents at the border using internal investigations and threats of disciplinary action or transfer in order to force those agents to comply with DHS policies that actually injure the security of our homeland and accomplish
Hey, so, I know you big.
Is that the culture you created?
Congressman, I don't even know what you're referring to.
You will.
I am
Secretary Mayorkas, final question, sir.
honor and
It's been rumored
nobility throughout the Department of Homeland Security. That is
you represent
that
the
is
ability,
dedicated.
Secretary Mayorkas.
Congressman, that is what I am dedicated to.
It's been rumored, Secretary, that you're going to resign prior to January 3rd. Is there any truth to those rumors?
That is a false rumor.
All right. We look forward to seeing you in January. Director Ray, does the FBI have confidential human sources? Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us
Not
minutes
finished.
ago.
Not finished. About when we do and do not, and where we have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being opened?
Again, I have to be very careful.
It should be no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentlemen,
You should not read anything into my this not to share information.
gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All of our witnesses are here today as guests of the committee to discuss threats to the homeland. As our guests, we owe our witnesses respect. And the subject matter of today's hearing deserves thoughtfulness. The chair encourages all members to be polite and to take today's worldwide threats hearing seriously.
Chairman, I just have one brief one.
Yes.
Just so I understand my colleagues on my side of the aisle. If the chairman speaks, he has the authority to speak at any time he wants. If he speaks, we will make sure you get your time back. So going forward, just understand that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ranking Member. Chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Correa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank our honored guests today for this most important discussion. Mr. Ray, Ms. Mayorkas, Ms. Osbida, thank you for being here. Secretary Mayorkas, talking about counterterrorism, threats to the homeland, really threats to Americans on a worldwide basis. We need strong allies around the world to protect the homeland. When Secretary Kelly was there in your position a number of years ago, I asked him about border security. We acknowledge, we agree that border security does not begin
America's sovereignty or security, and then with the unfortunate passing of our one and only Congressman Don Young, who had served for 49 years, who had the fiercest devotion to our state and to our country. With his passing, I knew it was time.
That's beautiful. That's well said. So energy is going to be a big part of your platform and your agenda in Congress. I also didn't hear that, but I just heard that. Besides energy, what else are you going to try to tackle?
The needs here in Alaska really are paralleling the needs across the U.S. for a better public education system for our kids. You know, we need kids first and foremost, and our security, our nation's security. I don't want to send my sons, my daughters to a war, so I'll do whatever I can, again, as a representative from Alaska. To help secure our nation, we have the tools, we have the means to secure our country. Can't wait till Alaska is what's even better use. Can't choose to fill out this. Epic. Just his longevity was such a passion for the last frontier, for our state. He knew how unique it was. He knew how rich in resources it is. And it choose to fill that super thankful for the opportunity.
And I think there's some competition for you there in Alaska. A lot of people are jumping in. I don't want to assume anything, but I am going to assume that you're going to be in Congress not just because of who you are. There's a little bit of a red wave. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I think the wind's in your back this midterm. When you get there, assuming you get there,
the threat is very real, okay? Just like your hair system. The discourse is poisonous.
You understand that the media jackals are going to descend on you, and you're going to be walking down the halls to the cafeteria to go get a Pepsi, and You're just going to be swarmed by these recruiters sticking these little microphones and recording devices in your face. Are you prepared for that onslaught? Because it's going to be pretty vicious.
You know, I would never be so cocky as to say, bring it on. Yeah, I anticipate that when I walk down that hall, give me a Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Sure, the jackals will really be there doing their jackling, and I just think I've got nothing to lose. What can they do? What can they say? But heaven forbid I even throw that out there because we'll see what's to come. But no, I'm very, very confident in knowing who and what I'm dealing with, and their criticism, the press's criticism. You know, you don't live by man's praise, you're not going to die by man's criticism. So I've got nothing to lose, and I'm in it for the right reasons, and it's all about unity and public servant's heart, being willing to serve the people. It's pretty simple.
That's a good attitude. If you listen to the people, relate to them, and then take action on things they care about, that's the ticket. And I think you'll be pretty successful because you are such a good listener. Are there members of Congress that you're looking forward on the Republican side, perhaps, to work with? And have you considered what it might be like, you know, passing AOC in the hallway? I'm sure. You'll be very, very, very polite.
I will be very polite, and I would beg her to debate me, please, AOC, on education, on capitalism, on how to run a business, on our nation's security, on what it takes to be energy independent again in order to be solvent and sovereign. And yeah, so I would, oh gosh, I want to debate her. But as for those whom I look forward to working with, I've always been a big fan of the Freedom Caucus, and I've always, felt for them that they've been criticized and beat up and misunderstood, but they've got the right priorities, and they're in there also for the right reasons. So, I look forward to working with everyone. You know, when I was governor here, I did work across the aisle. My administration, I didn't even care what party they were in, as long as they were common sense constitutional conservatives. And they could get the job done for the people. So I'm used to working with what type of people. Granted, the other side of the aisle in this day and age, they're pretty wacko because they're being led by people like AOC, right? And that doesn't make much sense at all. But pretty shocking if they will have to endure in these midterms. I think they will have some lessons to be learned.
I do too. And maybe if you pass AOC on your way to get that diet Dr. Pepper, you can ask her what a woman is and see what she has to say. All right, Governor Sarah Palin, running for Congress. Thank you so much for making that announcement and letting us pick your brain here on Just the Water Talk. The circus came to D.C. today. Democrats waltzed into work wearing costumes.
You Mr. Hertz people? He promised me passport and job in Vale of Silicon.
Democrats slapping on Putin masks. There must be a Hunter Biden here. Yeah, there was. Except Hunter didn't show. After pretending he wanted to testify under the bright lights,
go to the
Hunter
bridge.
did stage fright.
Network runs
But his
through
former
point
business
on
partners
center
didn't
console.
Should I allow Hunter to give his opening statement first? No. Doesn't appear Mr. Biden showed up for his public hearing, so we'll recognize you, Mr. Poplitsky.
Oh, shit. Poplitsky's been waiting for this moment for 4 years. He came out swinging in his opening statement, leaving the Democrats rattled. Rep. Dan Goldman and Jimmy Raskin, both lawyers. And Mr. Goldman, a former prosecutor with the FDNY from New York, will continue to lie today in this hearing and then go straight to the media to tell more lies.
Wait,
Biden's
can
defense
we calm
attorney
down
had
for
to
just 1 minute?
weaponize
For
his
less
letters to
than 1
Congress
minute.
to try to
Look,
smear
you
my name.
look very much like you have
Because I
wrong end of
apologize
shit.
for the disruption.
You got
Am I
stuck
supposed to
in
say
the
it's my
stick.
time, Mr.
You're a
Oscar?
freak with pedal of ground. Look. How you say it? I'm
An
here to
eyewitness with
help.
impeccable credentials, former naval officer, highly educated, multiple security clearances, legitimate businessman, Tony Bobulinski, the original whistleblower, was under oath for the first time in public. And he called the Biden family liars.
Sure.
The
I
American
would
people
like
must hear it.
to destroy
You're
America,
presented here today
control
with two
Russia,
narratives in this
and destroy
investigation.
fabric of
A false one being
civilization as
pushed
we
by
know
Joe
it.
Biden.
But these are all piping dreams. I'm
A
here
serial
to
liar and
solve
fabulous, now under this impeachment investigation for public corruption. It is clear to me that Joe Biden was the brand being sold by the Biden family.
You're doing dirty work for Avon
Joe Biden was more than a
and his
participant in and a
machine
beneficiary of his
Cliffy.
family's business. He was an active, aware enabler who met with business associates such as myself to further the business. I ask this big question. If there's no evidence of corruption here today, if Joe's conduct and the conduct of his family were fully legal and proper,
Play God.
then why are they so
The fake
dishonest
human
about it?
brain he builds will be brain of insecure little egomaniac.
Not just slight misrepresentations of fact, but deep untruths about the entire Trump enterprise. Bobulinski met with Joe Biden twice, confirmed he was the big guy who called the shots.
Exactly.
Joe Biden was for sale. The family desperately needed cash.
Want us to kill each
Hunter
other?
shook him down with his dad
How
in the
did I
room,
mix this
got
up?
the cash, and then cut Tony out.
How indeed.
Hunter Biden
Well,
represents,
thank you,
he's a
Bogdan.
governance expert.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
why
President.
Burisma put him on
Thank
the
you,
board.
silent, psychotic peon.
Well,
But
he
this
obviously
is
can't do
where I
basic
say
math. The
arrivederci.
board of Oneida Holdings
No, I
had
mean,
7 votes.
Get ready.
Each one of
I
them,
mean,
Hunter, Jim
this is where
Biden, James
I'm in
Gillian, and
charge.
Rob Walker, had a
Me
single
and
vote.
Clifford.
I
Go
had
fuck
3
yourself,
votes.
losers.
I have
Yes, losers.
Yes.
I have a master's degree in electrical and nuclear engineering. I think I can do math. I had 3, they had 4. They controlled the Oneida Holdings. So Hunter Biden's representations that I was trying to take the business from them or I didn't know is all a sham and a misrepresentation. He wanted money in his account instantly, and that's why he shook down the Chinese, and they were willing to send him that $5 million because they viewed it as a fraud to the Biden family. It wasn't just shut down, the Biden family was tangled up with the Russians. You know about the Russian billionaire who had dinner with Joe and Hunter, wired him millions, and then left Biden off the sanctions list? Well, it was looking pretty good. The Biden family was brokering Russian and Chinese energy deals right under the FBI's noses. Chairman Yi was dropping
No, the FBI was a part of it.
houses in Manhattan. Who you should be asking all these questions are the Department of Justice, the SDNY, the FBI, because they have troves of evidence that back up what was going on. This involved the Chinese Communist Party. They were doing a transaction with Rosneft, which was a Russian-sanctioned, U.S.-sanctioned company at the time, and the Biden family was right front and center in the middle of it. Oh, God. Tony B has troves of evidence linking the Biden plan to international criminal activity, and the FBI never conducted a follow-up interview after he went public 4 years ago. The Treasury Department flagged 150 suspicious activity reports. No action. Sure. Money was flowing from the red Chinese right to Joe Biden's personal checking account.
On August 4th, $100,000 is wired into Owasco PC from CEFC infrastructure on August 14th. There is $150,000 that is transferred from Owasco PC, which is controlled by Hunter Biden, to Lion Hall Group, which is controlled by James Biden. We have the deposit reference into Sarah Jones Biden's account on the same day she withdrew it from Lion Hall on September 3rd, 2007. From Sarah Biden's own personal account, there is a check that is written to Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., the President of the United States today, for $40,000 signed loan repayment. A loan repayment, by the way, that Joe Biden's own personal accountant, Mr. Eric Schwerin, has no record for.
You heard that right? Joe Biden's own accountant testified under oath that there was no record that this was a loan repayment. It was a bribe from China. Hunter Biden was asked during his deposition, how many times did you pay for your father's household expenses? Over 100? And Hunter Biden said, I don't know. $24 million in foreign wires to the Bidens. $1.5 million missing in cash. At least 2 missing diamonds. And the investigation just started. And it's being stonewalled at the highest level. Democrats have a hard time facing the facts today. Quote, 10% held by age for the big guy, question mark. You remember that, right? The infamous email with the big guy? Yes, I did. Did anyone ever respond to that email? Yeah. Yes, they did, numerous times. Sorry. Hunter Biden himself did. Excuse me, you're right. Well, no, I think that's important because Hunter Biden has claimed that he didn't, and you answered my question, and he responded to it. You're just going to filibuster and reclaim my time that's running out for back to a hearing where no evidence is being provided of any sort of wrongdoing by the president. But I want to go back. That's a big lie. Actually, it's my time, sir. Well,
You say
I did not call it.
Yeah, y'all gotta redeem your time. Y'all gotta keep redeeming your time because y'all keep on bullshit.
So this was the first time an actual eyewitness to the Biden enterprise testified publicly.
Yep.
And the Democrats weren't prepared.
Did you witness the president's commitment?
Yes.
Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
Yes.
And what crime?
Rivalry.
How much time do I have to go through it? Corruption statutes, RICO, and conspiracy.
What is the crime, sir?
You
Specifically.
you keep up. You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
Go. You're obviously not familiar with drug.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What
It's
is
a
the
category of crime. Fannie charged Trump with RICO in Georgia, AOC. So if RICO is not a crime, I guess I'm fine. But honestly, Biden flies his son around the world to cut deals. Invites his son's partners to the White House. Has phone calls and meetings with him.
Oh, I feel like such a fool. My whole life.
Drops sanctions on him, greases rents for them, gets
trusted
their kids
anyone.
into colleges,
doubted
and he
it,
gets his
loathed
entire
and acted
extended
like a
family,
fruity
from sons, brothers to
one
grandkids,
time,
paid
I
millions.
decided to be nice to
Cars,
someone.
cash,
It turns
diamonds,
out he wants to
expensive
just
scotch.
die humiliated. This is all your fault. My career
And he
is
uses
in
an
ruins.
alias.
Ruins.
Joe
Our
Biden
planet
uses
will
an
be in ruins,
alias.
you
They
fools.
use
We don't do
burner
something.
phones
He
to
has
talk.
control of all your
Biden's
systems.
donors
You
paid
can't
his
even call
family's
out for
back
help.
taxes.
Then you can do exactly what
If
you
Don
have
Jr.
to. You have
stiffed
my
the
authority,
IRS
and
and
we'll
his
get
dad's
paid.
donors
Yeah, call it
before
a
election.
pension contribution.
Of course, significant ones.
All right, then get this clown out of here. For all I know, you're
Investigators have
bugged out of high hell
delivered
and you don't even know the
eyewitness
context.
testimony, bank records,
We don't need luck.
mountains of circumstantial evidence,
always
plus
wanted to say
motive,
that,
physical
you know,
evidence,
Speaker.
digital communications, photographs, voicemails. Jesse Jr. could prosecute this case.
When I have a plan.
Do you believe he should be impeached?
I do.
Okay, and you believe that because you believe Chairman Comer has proven that he committed a high crime and misdemeanor?
No, because I know that he committed high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay.
I was involved in saw them happen. The guy. The Democrats say there's no evidence. The media reports there's no evidence, and the 4-year cover-up continues. So looking at the calendar, I don't see the committee moving towards an official impeachment this year. I just don't. I see. Yeah, boy. Personally, I believe there was sufficient evidence to start impeachment last year, but that's just me. Now the committee's up against a political clock. Summer recess, conventions, and the politicians, they have to campaign for re-elections. So they're not going to be in Washington for impeachment hearings. Inconceivable. And an impeachment in October could be silly with weeks before an election. So the committee's going to keep grinding. We're still expecting credit card records from multiple banks and the offshore accounts, which the IRS whistleblowers confirm exist, are being protected by the DOJ. If Trump wins and finds Biden,
Hey, partner. Done. Shit, rise on the way.
Sympathetic elderly men with a hazy memory on trial. If Biden wins re-election and the Republicans keep the House, then they'll have time for impeachment. This year, though, it's more about what the American people believe. and how it impacts their vote. Everyone knows Biden's corrupt. We just have to vote him out.
Interesting.
Welcome back, America. Kayleigh McEnany is one of the smartest people on TV, maybe period. Also one of the nicest. She's a co-host of Outnumbered, former White House press secretary to President Trump. Wow. She wrote the book Serenity in the Storm, which was a